second. But first, EuroLeague basketball, obviously. Potential #1 NBA draft pick Luka Doncic throws down the one-handed slam.
Cece, I sent you some highlights of him a few weeks ago.
Yes.
The game where he hit the game winner, step back three. I'm usually skeptical of Euros in the top 5 of the draft. This guy is special, man. This guy is special.
Yeah, I love his size. I love his body. Love he can shoot anywhere on the court, and he's very athletic.
And he's been playing with pros since he was a kid.
Celtics and Bucks, Jason Tatum handles step back three. The rookie with a team high 22.
He had a good bounce back game.
Yes.
The Celtics as a whole, however, could not handle Giannis last night. Period, point blank.
Giannis and also the Celtics, man, they're offensively challenged. And this is what they ran into last night. When did they struggle? Scoring late in games and consistency to build the score.
Giannis. That's all I'm going to say. I'm just going to say Giannis.
This was a big game for him, see, after he only took 10 shots in their Game 5 loss. This was at home. Biggest game of his career up to this point. He led him in basically everything.
Oh, yeah. Deontay and I were very upset with him. He kind of did one of those LeBron passive-aggressive things. The game's important, but he wasn't going to initiate the action. So in the fourth quarter, did take over. I think he scored 10 of the last 16 points. Yeah, I mentioned it. Yeah, your guy. We got him in the show. First hour.
Boom. All right, moving on. With the second overall pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Penn State running back sensation Saquon Barkley, which means a couple things. One, they really liked him. Two, they'll now have a running game for the first time since Thunder and Lightning starred for Big Blue. And three, Eli's your guy now for the foreseeable future, Giants fans. CC, what do you think? Did the Giants make the right call selecting Saquon with that second pick?
The Giants did do the right thing. And Dave Gettleman, he's been fairly honest as far as the whole process. He looked at Eli as he had some type of time left in him. He didn't look at this as a make-or-break year for Eli. In the year where there were going to be 5 quarterbacks available that had a first-round grade on them, the Giants had decided that they're going to try to get a couple years out of Eli. Also, their backup, who they spent the 3rd-round pick on. They feel like he has some type of football future. Don't know if he is the franchise answer, but right now, with Odell Beckham, with Ingram, the tight end, with Sterling Shepard, you have to try to get another weapon. And they got the best player in the draft, the cleanest one. Clean, what does that mean? The guy who has no marks against him, being athletically, personality, size, strength. You're talking about a 6-foot running back who can run through the tackles, is also a special teams player, and also can make an immediate impact out of the backfield. The Giants got the best player in the draft.
I think the Giants may have gotten the best player in the draft. That doesn't mean they made the right call here. And I say that only because if there are any quarterbacks that hit other than Baker Mayfield, when we look back on this draft, we will say, well, that would have been the better pick. Like, that is...
That's if he's not great.
That's even if he is great.
No, I believe you have to... The draft is about real time. And what's real time in the NFL? The future's right now. Like, if the Giants, if they're going to win... If we take away the injuries from this season, we thought the Giants were a 10-win team last year. We didn't think Eli would have a horrific year. We thought he'd have a decent... Even if he was the middle of the pack.
Right.
And then if they wouldn't be in this selection, but then if they went out and got a running back, which Eli has not had the support, then you would be like, wow, what kind of position? You have to do what's right for the Giants. They think they have a chance to win in the next couple years, and if they believe that, you have to go with the running back right now.
Well, they better win at a very high level in the next couple years, unless none of the other quarterbacks are good to justify this. Because when you say if he's not good, we can just go draft by draft over the last few years, and we don't have to go through all of them. I'll pick. How about 2014? The 2014 draft, non-quarterbacks, has Aaron Donald, Odell Beckham Jr., Khalil Mack, 3 guys who are superstars in this league. But knowing what we know now, if you went back and did that draft again, Jimmy Garoppolo and Derek Carr go 1-2 or 2-1. Why? Because they're franchise-level quarterbacks in the eyes of people. We can go to a draft that was one of the greatest drafts ever, the 2011 draft. J.J. Watt, Von Miller, Julio Jones.
Great draft.
Guys, J.J.'s going to be a Hall of Famer. Julio's tracking towards it. Von's tracking towards it. If you went and did that again, Cam still goes #1. because of the value of the quarterback. Cam's not tracking to be a Hall of Famer right now, but the value of the quarterback. And so I think you can pick the best player. But if you have an opportunity to take a quarterback and you don't, I went into it saying their best option was to take their favorite quarterback. Their second best option was to trade the pick. Dave Gettleman said people were just offering me popcorn and hot dogs for the number 2 pick. I wasn't doing it. So like that's the rub. I understand why Giants fans be excited because for this year, he of course is the guy that can help them the most.
Would it be safe to say then the Giants went with the safe pick? He was the safe pick. Most likely, the running back is going to have a fairly, as you say, seamless transition from college to the pros. Probably have a decent year. We don't know if it's a Zeke-type year, but he'll have a great year. But you don't know of those 4 quarterbacks going in the top 10. You say 1, maybe 2 of them will be busts. It's hard to know.
Well, this is the thing. He has such a high rating on him that even Le'Veon Bell, he's a lot higher rating than him. He's as high or higher than Ezekiel Elliott. So you're talking about he's probably got one of the top 3 running back ratings that we've had coming to the NFL in the last 20 years. And if the quarterback, if you're not going to play him right now, which the Giants weren't going to do, because all these other quarterbacks that were drafted, it speeds up the clock. And all those other places don't have a 2-time Super Bowl champion. So you have to consider in real time. Everyone can look at the draft. Hell, if I could do the draft over, we wouldn't make no misses. NBA draft,
right,
NFL draft, tomorrow, of course we would do that. But it's in real time. And you have a 2-time Super Bowl champion that you believe has football in him. You need to get the best player. And that's what they did with Barkley.
And the football left in Eli is the other key here. Right. They have to be right that Eli can be a very productive player for the next 2 or 3, hopefully for them even 4 years, because you also have to take in the context of the conference. And there are 16 teams in the NFC. There are 15 teams that have younger quarterbacks who they believe are franchise quarterbacks. You can make the argument today that every team, as far as long-term optimism in the NFC, every team feels better positioned long-term than the Giants. So the only reason you're okay with that is if you think in the short term, we're going to go bust people in their head. We got Evan Ingram. We got Sterling Shepard. OBJ's coming back. We just added the highest-rated running back to come into the league in, what, a decade potentially?
You have a guy that's going to protect you. You have Nate Solder in your lineup as well. But you also have to assume that the reason Eli didn't play as well last year or lost a step is maybe because Odell wasn't in the lineup. So
there is no maybe. Absolutely. Him, okay, Brandon Marshall, the rest of, that team was decimated. The lack of a left tackle, the lack of protection. There's no quarterback in the NFL that could have played well under Eli's circumstances. I like what the Giants are doing and the fact that you can't put an equation on this. How long do you stay with the guy who wins you 2 freaking Super Bowls? And that's the dilemma that the Giants have. It's not a dilemma that Nick likes, but it is the reality. I put 2 of them Lombardi trophies in that trophy case, so they're going to give me some time to potentially maybe play a year longer than past my prime, maybe a year longer than other organizations because of they don't have the history with a quarterback like
But
Eli.
Nick, the question is this the year past his prime, or is this just the year because he didn't have Odell last year?
And so we'll see. We'll see about it. I totally agree with Chris that he was in an impossible situation last year. I also think you saw some of the writing on the wall for Eli as far back as 4 years ago, or I guess 5 years ago, right before they got Odell. If you're a Giants fan, though, I'm not trying to rain on the parade for 2018. For this season and potentially next season, you gave yourself the best chance to compete for a championship. But if you top out the rest of Eli's era at 10 wins and a first-round playoff exit, then I think you look back and say, damn, could have had Darnold there and then Darius Geis, who's maybe 80% of Saquon at the top of the second round. You don't know if he's going to be there, though. You're playing everything after the fact. It's so much easier to do this after the fact. If the Giants knew that Geis was going to be there at the beginning of the second round, yeah, of course. You'll be like, hey, what's going to happen tomorrow? We don't know. And that's why the draft, it's not a science. Mel Kiper, he's going to miss. Todd McShay, he's going to miss.
Right.
Our boy, Joel Klatt, he's going to miss. That's what happens with the draft. That's why you tune in. At least half of the first-round picks, they will be bust.
That's why it's my favorite time.
Bengals are once again
hey,
not
coming
going
up,
to the
Josh
playoffs.
Rosen has some harsh words for the teams that passed on him. This you will not want to miss. Wait to hear what he had to say. Hear it from him next on First Things First.